Hello and welcome to yet another documentary. Tonight we will be discussing Pyrrhus of Epirus. BC, Pyrrhus is born. He lived surrounded by tribes, unrest, and war. Yes. He had quite a lot of connections in Greek royalty as the son and cousin, etc. of various royal figures. At the same time, Greece had found itself in a state of unrest following the death of Alexander the Great. And the neighbors wanted to move in on ancient Greece and make it ancient their country instead. So, at the ripe young age of 12 in 306 BC, Pyrrhus was made king of Epirus. Now, as his kingship, it mostly existed as a puppetary position. He worked for his relatives. He didn't really know much about running a country. He's 12. However, in 297 BC, Ptolemy of Egypt found Pyrrhus and made him the king of the Greek capital in the country of the Nile. So roughly, Egypt. So, Ptolemy led some coups, as it were, against Epirus, which is quite conflicting with Pyrrhus, who lived in Epirus up until then. So, in 294 BC, Pyrrhus invaded Macedonia. He became quite successful at this and managed to take over this small country. Yes, not a harbinger of things to come, which is a harbinger of things to come. So after he invaded Macedonia, he managed to reunite the brothers Antipater and Alexander V in a way that reunited the country, east-west, and one and the same, and they lived prosperously until Demetrius came into the scene. With Demetrius, he figured out that he could usurp control if he got rid of the kings, the brothers. So at one point he killed Alexander V. Oh no, he's dead. And then Demetrius, this set Pyrrhus back, so Pyrrhus had to go back to Epirus, and regroup. For shame. But at the same time, Pyrrhus' wife died. Oh, very crying. After the very crying dying of the wife, Pyrrhus married 3 other women. Very polygamy of him. And then Demetrius, at the same time, had married Pyrrhus' sister. So after Pyrrhus' sister died, Demetrius married Pyrrhus' 3rd wife. So now there's even more unrest. So, at this point, in 288 BC, in Macedonia, there existed a revolt. Pyrrhus, no one knows exactly how the revolt started or why, but at the end of it, Pyrrhus came out in power. Pyrrhus managed to usurp all the control of the area and became one of, if not the, most feared monarchs of his time. Now, what happens with Demetrius? Well, Pyrrhus is not happy with Demetrius. So, as part of the coup to bring back Macedonia to Pyrrhus of Epirus, he basically captured Demetrius and made him a prisoner of war. Now, Demetrius had a position of prestige. So when people have positions of prestige in ancient times, they were good POWs because they could be ransomed. And then with the ransom, that country gets wealthy. Well, Pyrrhus didn't actually do that. No, what Pyrrhus did was he encouraged. That's how hard he encouraged Demetrius to drink and drink and drink the alcohol a lot. And guess what? Demetrius had alcohol poisoning and ended up dying from it. So, Pyrrhus is riding high. He has conquered his first enemy, his second enemy, and his third enemy. Pyrrhus had more power under his belt, and he decided he needed to expand his empire. So he took the country of Thessaly in 285 BC, but then unfortunately he had a power struggle with King Lysimachus, who wanted to take Thessaly back So he bought off Pyrrhus' generals, which sent Pyrrhus back yet again. This guy cannot catch a break. Oh, maybe he can. Because he went home to Epirus, and there in Epirus he formed an army. And then the citizens of Tarentum came to him and said they invited him to fight off the Romans for them. So the first battle between Epirus armies, the Pyrrhus armies of Epirus, which are about 3 times larger than the normal army of the time, fought the Romans. They killed 7,000 Romans, which sounds like a bountiful amount. However, they lost 4,000 Greeks. Not a good trade-off, really. However, Pyrrhus paid this no mind. He marched north even more. So as he's marching north, he found 2 more Roman colonies, Luceria and Venusia, and he took them as well. However, 6,000 Romans perished in the battles, and 3,500 Greeks perished in the battles. This is what became known as a Pyrrhic victory. What is a Pyrrhic victory? So a Pyrrhic victory is when nothing really gets resolved. It is when the side that wins the battle is not really better off than the side that lost the battle. Both of them have so many losses, you don't really know who really won, but it looks like one because the other side retreated, I guess. You know, it's kind of like an exercise in futility. It is a hollow victory, as you will. Well, back to the meat of the dish. Yes, that is a Pyrrhic victory. So, from 279 BC to 275 BC, Pyrrhus and Rome fought and fought and fought. In 275 BC, Rome and Carthage, who Pyrrhus had been fighting on their side, Carthage, they signed a treaty. So, after sitting for 2 years, Pyrrhus decided, wow, I need to fight a war, so I'm going to build up my army. So he has his army, he goes and takes Argos. Now, Pyrrhus wanted this army to fight Rome again. So on his way to fight Rome again, he got into a street brawl in Argos. Aha, quite unfortunate for him, because a woman watching the brawl take place on the street took a roof tile from her 2nd-story window, chucked it at Pyrrhus. It hit Pyrrhus in the head. He fell off of his horse. He hit the ground, probably paralyzed with the impact, and then he was incapacitated, and then he suddenly was decapitated. Yes, he came to a sticky end, quite the sticky end for the sticky General King, who knew how to fight, but had no idea how to run a country. Obviously, if he loses so many people and does nothing with it, he's not really fit to lead, is he? Oh no, he fought to fight. No, then he met his bitter end. And guess what? It is our very sweet end of the documentary about Pyrrhus. We learned about Pyrrhus' victories, and we learned about Pyrrhus dying. And now we're going to stop. And I hope you're as dizzy as I am.